Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, dude. Oh my god, 2-bit dork. That's fine. We're not doing anything. We're just chilling today. We're just hanging out, doing work at the moment. This is a work stream. But oh my fucking god. Oh my god. I cannot believe I had no audio for this long. For an hour. For an hour, no audio.
What?
For an hour, no audio. That's cool. That's cool. That's so cool. That is just so cool. Wow. Either way, it doesn't matter. Like I say, I'm not doing anything like entertaining to watch specifically. I'm just chilling out myself, doing work, paying rent. And now my displays for what's going on here? There we go. Huh. Wow. Well. Thank you so much, 2-bit dork in chat.
Hetzner's business is, and they sponsored us to come all the way.
And now I'm not getting any audio. What's going on here? What's going on? Oh, there we go. That's why.
Me what I would describe as the most professionally DIY facility that I think I have ever seen. Seriously though, this place is incredible. If you can do it yourself, they do it. I'm talking building their own HVAC systems, building their own custom server racks and enclosures. They even designed their own unique steep-roofed DC buildings, and they're working on a DIY solar deployment that would transition them from already 100% renewable energy to even cleaner renewable energy. And the best part is they gave me an unprecedented level of access to just like climb the exhaust structures, explore under the false floor. I even built an actual server on the production floor that will be deployed to one of their customers in just a few minutes, if all of this goes according to plan. Falkenstein might sound like a fictional place, like Gimmelstump, but I assure you guys, it's real and it is absolutely beautiful. But that is not why Hetzner decided to build Germany's largest data center here. That comes down to the climate. To keep their costs, their water consumption, and their energy consumption low, Hetzner relies heavily on air cooling. And the cooler the air, the better that works out for them. Hence the decision to build their other data center in Helsinki, Finland. This desire for maximum efficiency drives pretty much every decision around here. Like, if I saw something weird or unusual, the answer invariably was, well, it's very efficient that way. Take, for instance, the layout of their buildings. Most DCs build up using multi-story structures with complicated heat management systems. Here, land is cheap, so Hetzner instead is building out. And they devised an unusual shed-style roof for their modular buildings that takes advantage of natural convection in order to more efficiently move heat. Here.
Oh, no. Oh my god. Oh.
Convection in order to more efficiently move heat. Here, let's go inside so I can show you guys. Under my feet right now is pretty standard data center stuff. A raised floor with chilled air that is forced into the cold aisles and then exhausted through customer systems, keeping the systems cool and the interior of the DC at a consistent 22 degrees Celsius. These filtered HVAC systems use Hetzner's own design to cool the incoming air as needed. So far, so pretty standard. But here's where things get interesting. You can really feel the cooling up here, or rather the heat. The shape of this roof allows natural convection to carry the hottest air in the DC all the way up and over here, where it gets exhausted directly outside. I gotta say, that is something that I have never seen before. A DC that is just open to outside air. But apparently they never have issues with rain or snow getting in because they keep the data center at a positive internal pressure using powerful turbine fans. Now let's head down and take a look at some of the system racks. See, in most DCs, you would find rows and rows of standard 19-inch racks. And Hetzner does offer those for folks who want, say, a virtualized cloud server, but the vast majority of what we saw during our visit used Hetzner's own custom bare metal solutions that offer up some key advantages, with the biggest being flexibility and cost. We're gonna take a closer look at some of these in a second, but first, some history. Hetzner realized many years ago that consumer-grade hardware was getting powerful enough to be used for cloud applications and reliable enough to expect a 7 to 8 year lifespan, or even
6
more.
to 7.
And all of this at a fraction of the cost of enterprise solutions. So, by passing those savings along to their customers, they created a really cool niche for themselves. Now, their older systems actually used tower cases on standard warehouse shelving, but over time they asked themselves, why do we need cases again? And that is how the ES, or Easy Stack system, was born. Basically, what you're looking at here are motherboard trays
I would like
on
ship
little
my
metal
stuff out to
sliders
this company.
that have a bunch of modular parts that can be bolted onto them depending on the customer's needs. Do you want a couple of hard drives? Cool. There's a cage for that. You want some SSDs? Ditto. Oh, wait, you need way more hard drives? Well, they have a dedicated hard drive shelf that will double your rack space consumption, but allows for up to 15 hard drives off of a single system. So you could, say for instance, build your own cloud backup. Now, obviously, you don't get the kind of density from this that you might get from OneUse or from Blade servers, but again, here comes the E word. Hetzner found that for their customers, the efficiency of being able to cool their systems with a single standard case fan versus like a bunch of high-powered 40mm screamer fans outweighed the benefit of more density. And the power consumption of a fan might sound like an insignificant thing, but to give you some idea how obsessive these guys are, they even disable motherboard RGB because across hundreds of thousands of systems, every single watt counts. One of the most striking things about this place is the total mishmash of different gear in here. Like, some of it is frankly kind of entry level. Like, this is just a consumer Ryzen system with this cute little, what they call a reset board to help with remote management. See, consumer boards don't have IPMI for, network access to the BIOS. So this is a way for customers to hard reset or power down a system without asking a technician to come and do it every time. And then meanwhile, 2 racks under it, we've got an Ampere ARM-powered server, and then over here, an EPYC server on a proper enterprise motherboard with like high-capacity NVMe SSDs. It's a total mix. Sometimes we see large blocks of the same system that were clearly all ordered together, but not that often, and that's just due to the nature of Hetzner's business, where they accommodate many smaller customers who might order a single system today, 3 more of the month next, and then another 10 a year later. That means they need to stay nimble, and their modular approach lets them do just that. If there's ever a problem with your system, every DC has these little workstations kind of sprinkled about, where you can speak directly with a technician who can repair your system, either using parts that are on hand, or just, if it's a more challenging issue, they'll just replace it with an on-hand spare system. I found all the memory from the memory shortage. Actually, it's kind of nice that there's no DDR5 here. This kind of permissiveness and flexibility extends to networking as well. So at the top of every rack, you can see that there's a switch. So far, so normal. But while many network configurations will use VLANs to help customers create virtual networks of their systems, Hetzner goes a step farther and actually lets you just manage the top of rack switch and then hardwire all of your own systems together on their own private physical network if you want to. So in a nutshell, the vibe I'm getting from this place is, well, what I really wanted to do was cobble together my own service hosting and cloud infrastructure, but man, wouldn't it be nice to do that in a place that also has data center grade redundant cooling and power? That's Hetzner, baby. Speaking of, why don't we actually head over and have a look at the cooling and power? On our way over there, I did promise that we could go under the floor, and now seems like as good a time as any, right? Okay. Come here, you. Woo! That's chilly. Ah. Okay, this is cool. I don't think I've ever done this before. Now, Hetzner is expanding pretty rapidly, and the idea behind their modular construction is they want to be ready for whatever hardware their customers are going to put in their new building. So everything around me right now is just like cold air. And so if they want to create a new cold aisle, all they do is just lift up some floor tiles like we just did, replace those with grills, and then throw up some racks and an enclosure around them. And all the building materials they need to do all of that are here on site. See, this is what I mean by like DIY professional. And I get the same kind of vibes in here. This is their battery backup. Like, to be clear, I'm not saying it's not professional quality. If utility power fails, these lead acid batteries are gonna kick in immediately and can run the building that we're in for about 10 to 15 minutes until the diesel generator outside can fire up. And that has enough fuel on site to run for several more days before they'll need to truck in more. And these batteries are kind of a really sensible choice. They're good for 10 to 15 years, which makes this a low maintenance and economical solution. It's just not what I'm used to seeing.
Have your own phone.
Same goes for these. Normally when I see an evaporative cooling tower, it's literally that. It's a tower, it's enormous. But these are just like practical little heat exchangers, and the reason they can get away with that is that it's only about 4 or 5 days out of the year that Falkenstein gets too hot. So they've got these little banks of evaporative coolers, and then they build them on the north side of the building in the shadow of like the tall end of the roof here. Again, to help them operate more efficiently by keeping them out of the sun. Now I think it's time for me to get out of the sun and see where the servers are built. Hetzner builds over 1,000 servers per week.
I love this. Anyways, we gotta watch the actual video that we're here to edit.
Welcome, one and all to yet another episode of WhickTV, a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. And gang, today we have a show for you. We're joined by some great guests to discuss a very simple topic. Which political party in America is better for minorities? I'm going to give the mic to each of these lovely individuals to introduce themselves and kind of, you know, they can tell you their initial thoughts. If you, dear viewers, at any point want to go and subscribe to any of their channels, I have put links to their stuff in my YouTube description. I encourage you to do so. But for now, let's get started. I'm going to hand the mic first to Hunter Dunn. Go ahead. Start us off. Open us up.
Oh, you muted my brother.
You're muted on your end.
Hey, false starts, right? Just getting into the football mode
It's all good.
we
We're
just
going to loosen
started.
up a little bit, right?
Hi, I'm Hunter Dunn, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit baffled that the other side agreed to this debate, given that's about which party is better at protecting minority rights. We have one political party that, to be honest, at best, is decent to apathetic on the issue. But on the other side, we have another party, another side of the aisle, that is actively engaging in attacks on basic human rights, whether we're talking about constitutional violations for all people, but especially targeting minorities, or we're talking about even disagreeing on whether or not we should protect interracial marriage at the federal level. So I think what we're looking at here is a bit of a hydrogen bomb versus a coughing baby situation, but I am excited to get into potentially different definitions of what minority rights are and see if there's any places that we can come together, not just disagree. So thank you for having us on.
Okay, well, thanks for being here, and we'll get into it as we go. Next up, Tashika, please go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tashika. I'm 24 years old. I wrote out a little bit of an opening statement, if that's okay to read here.
Go for it.
In the past century, the only party that has pushed for and legally adopted the rights for minorities has been the Democratic Party. Whether that be disability rights, civil rights, marriage equality, body autonomy, and decriminalization of identity. The Republican Party has been a consistent threat to minorities for the past century by removing and criminalizing openly gay people during the Lavender Scare, overturning Roe v. Wade, through the Dobbs decision, consistently criminalizing and empowering individuals to privately attack transgender people, refusing to lift the sub-minimum wage of disabled people, and rollbacks on the Black family by taking away their welfare and mass incarceration through targeted criminalization. I'm looking forward to hearing different perspectives from the other side today and how how they plan to circumvent reality and history.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. We'll get into it as we go. Mr. Rippey, please.
Yeah, well, we'll start with my favorite one, just at a foundational level.
Hold on. Mr.
Oh.
Rippey?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Rifty. I am not Rippy.
You are not Mr. Rippey. Go ahead, Mr. Rippey. Go ahead.
Yeah, people can tell the difference, but basically, black voters shouldn't have to accept just what the party says. Over the past 6 years, I'm overwhelmingly voting Democrat, and we should look at where Black America is today. 85% of Black Americans vote for a specific party, and nothing has gotten better. If anything, it's gotten actually worse. Instead of repeating talking points, actually go by facts and data and what reality is. So I'm not going to repeat the talking point like they're taking away Black rights and rolling back certain things. I'm going to actually talk about the data, talk about the facts, talk about reality instead of talking points that the Democrats push on the Black community to get emotional voters to continue to keep them in office, to keep the Black people disenfranchised.
Okay, well, we're excited to have you. We'll see where it goes. Stream Rift, now it's your turn. Go ahead.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to start right at some basics, right? We got the basics of free speech. That's important. The basics of guns, and armed minorities are harder to oppress. So the Republicans want firearms to be generally and broadly accessible, and it is Democrats that want to put restrictions on who can have the protection of the gun. So at a very basic, just can I sleep some more peacefully at night? Republicans say that should be something you're allowed to decide how you're going to protect yourself. I'll also point to some of the government's interaction with minorities has included, and I'm sad to say, that, and Mr. Rippey knows about this in more detail than I do, so I'll defer to him on this as it comes up. But the keep no father in the home policies really destroyed the Black family, and that destroyed the core of that group. And so whites are the global minority. We're going to say Blacks are the minority in this country, and that's fine. But just to be clear on our definitions about what a minority is, I'm going to pick on my opposition here a little bit for trying to do a sleight of hand. This happens a lot, Mr. Rippey, and I have to deal with this a lot. It sounds like you're trying to smuggle bodily autonomy in here, which is a very interesting way of talking about abortion. But if we're talking about a minority, I think women are roughly 50-50. So I think you're trying to push the disadvantage Olympics to the point where now you think women are a minority. It's about 50-50. They're not a minority. I'm sure you're not going to be bringing up things like that anymore.
Okay. Well, with that, we'll open it up. Go ahead. If I stop you, please respect my moderation. But other than that, floor is open. Go ahead. Anyone want to go for? Okay.
Well, the first.
Go ahead.
Sorry, love. So the first thing I would definitely like to bring up is ask, like Mr. Rippey, you said that Black people have been voting overwhelmingly Democrats for a very, very long time, and you say that there are particular promises that Democrats have given to Black people that they have not been able to, make come to fruition. Can you tell me what exactly those would be for you, so we can get like a baseline of what your stance is?
I don't think that's what I said, though.
Is that not what you said? Can you restate that, please?
Okay, so what I said was that they just repeat talking points to keep Black people dependent on them. So government dependency is never a good thing. Okay, the Republican Party focused more on entrepreneurship, ownership, instead of being dependent on a specific party. We don't want a welfare check. We want to make our own money. And I'm for the party that's for capitalism, because it was actually the Republican Party that helped found the Black people that actually helped found the Republican Party. And we go through the history of the Republican Party when we're actually thriving, where we actually built so many amazing things. We own banks, we own bus companies, we own mortgage companies. We did so many great things under the ideas of what the Republican Party represent. Meanwhile, ever since we started voting Democrat, what exactly what Streamer was just talking about, kick the father out of the home, making the single mother married to the government. That actually destroyed the Black nuclear family. When you destroy the Black nuclear family, that takes down a thriving society, because we were thriving prior to the Civil Rights Act. And it was the Democrats that voted against and filibustered the Civil Rights Act in 1964, and Republicans voted for it.
So I'm really amused by some of the claims that you're making here. Obviously, I would agree that when it comes to the early Republican Party, which was much more progressive, that they did some great work for civil rights. Like Abraham Lincoln, who also passed the Revenue Act of 1862, which introduced progressive taxation to the federal income tax. also introduced the income tax, and created an inheritance tax, which we all know Republicans love the death tax. It's not like Republicans used to be the party of big government and civil rights and then abandoned it to embrace the Southern strategy, as shown by Richard Nixon on tapes discussing it, using the hard R. And at the same time, when we talk about the Civil Rights Act, and more importantly, the Voting Rights Act, which president did that pass under? Oh, right, Lyndon B. Johnson, a Democrat. When it comes to specifically the registration in southern red states, after the Voting Rights Act was passed, we saw an increase in black registration from 11% to 51% in Alabama, and in Tennessee from 27% to close to 70%. And this stayed until Shelby County in 2013, the Supreme Court overturned some parts of the Voting Rights Act in 2013, which continued in 2026 with the Louisiana versus Clace decision. Now in pre-clearance counties, voter purges went from 6.8% to 8.9%, specifically in pre-clearance counties. And do you want to know how many of them are Republican? Over 90% of pre-clearance counties vote Republican, and there is a reason for that. The reason for that is because a competent federal government would actually step up and defend the rights of BIPOC people from attacks by the Republican Party specifically. When we see voter purges and voter suppression,
what's your like one sentence on the argument you're making here? I'm trying to listen to you, but you seem to be.
Let him finish, and then you can respond. I promise. Go ahead.
I'm just saying straightforwardly, I don't think you want to take credit for any sort of pre-civil rights area Republican actions for civil rights, because if you do, I assume you're also in favor of progressive taxation and other progressive policies the then progressive Republican Party took. And when it comes to the actual modern day, when the people who are currently alive were alive back then, it's very clear which side has been consistently on the side of civil rights, and it's the same side the whole time, the progressive side. It's just they're Democrats now instead of Republicans.
Go ahead.
All right, now I repeated all these repeated talking points I can talk about all the time. You talk about Richard Nixon, but when you fail to realize Richard Nixon is actually using it as a strategy, but he actually lost the Deep South to George Wallace, who was a Democrat, but he ran as an independent. Now, when it comes down to the Civil Rights Act actually being passed, the very first Civil Rights Act was actually passed by a Republican. It's authored and passed by a Republican. You know who that Republican is? I know you don't. It's okay. His name is Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Hold on. Let Mr. Rippey finish.
Let's finish. So, 1957, a president by the name of Dwight D. Eisenhower, Little Rock, Arkansas, passed the first Civil Rights Act. Now, when I say the majority of Republicans voted for the Civil Rights Act and the Democrats voted against it, it's because that was the longest filibuster still to this day. And Lyndon B. Johnson was actually forced to sign the Civil Rights Act. That's the reason why he put the Great Society Act in place, which means that he said that the black people would be voting. He actually used a different word than that. And he was known to use the N-word a lot, but we voted Democrat for the next 200 years. Not only that, every single Democrat I voted, out of 21 Democrats I voted against the Civil Rights Act, 20 remained Democrats until they died off, with the exception of Storm Thurmond. He was the only person that switched parties. Now, you went through a lot. That's the reason why when people talk in paragraphs.
Hold on.
Things.
You're being misleading with your facts here. How many Democrats voted for that act compared to how many voted against it? Did the majority of Democrats vote for or against that act? I don't think you know.
Well, no.
I have the numbers right in front of me. 118 Democrats in the House voted for it.
Why are you cutting him off, man? No, straight up. Seriously, he's got a little.
Okay. Everyone's talking over each other. It's hard to hear. The audios are getting.
I'll let him continue, but I just want to correct the facts for the record.
Wait, hold on, wait. Calm yourself, Iago. So basically, the third time they voted, it was 80-60. So 6% of Democrats versus 80% of Republicans. But the first few times, I voted on 3 different times. Okay, the first time only 33% of Democrats voted for it. Do you have those numbers?
I have the final passage numbers right in front of me, which you still haven't been able to produce.
I just produced. I said the third time, the final time, 80-60.
Okay.
I just said it.
Yeah.
Hold on. I do want to give. I do want to give Tashika a chance to get in here.
Are you talking about the Anderson-Aiken amendment version of it, or which vote are you referring to specifically for the first vote?
What the first vote on the
because it actually passed by a larger margin of Democrats with the original first passage vote in June 18th, 1957, 286 to 126. It passed with a lower margin in August 27th, 1957.
Yeah, just real quick.
Go ahead, Spencer.
Just real quick. I do want to hold on, just real quick. I want to give the mic to Tashika, who's been trying to get in here, and I want to give it to
it's
who's also been trying to get in here, right?
And
also, if I may, I would like to maybe talk about more modern.
That's exactly what I was
issues
going to say, Wick.
with,
Like I can grant Mr. Rippey everything that he's saying about like past Republicans and whether or not they were more progressive than Democrats. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like the point is that as it stands, that Democrats are better for minorities now, and Republicans have always been the adversarial party, right? I think that's important for us to debate right now. I can grant you anything you want to say about the past. Well, not anything, but within reason.
Well, I mean,
So
a part
can
of
we have a
what's
conversation about that? Can we have a conversation about the current administration, something like that? The rollback
A
of
part
Roe
of
v.
what-
Wade, anything?
We can talk about school choice, capitalism, ownership versus dependency. We can talk about all these things and figure out which party is actually better for the minorities. And we all know that when it comes down to the facts and statistics and data, it tends to show that the Republican Party is better. But go ahead, Swen. I want to hear. No, I want to hear. I want to hear you.
Yeah, well, so
Personally,
let's take a look at Trump real quick here. I'm willing to bet you guys don't like Trump. Trump's terrible. He's against. But we had this June 2020 reform that 91%. What does it say? 81% of Black Americans wanted police presence kept the same, but Republicans are supporting law enforcement. Democrats aren't supporting law enforcement. So why is it that Democrats don't want blacks in their communities to have proper law enforcement? Mr. Rippey, do you know why they wouldn't want this? It's confusing to me.
I don't know, because that is what they want. It's what we want. We want safe neighborhoods. We want people to be able to walk around in the streets. Right now, people don't feel safe in the Black community, and we want more. We actually support the law enforcement,
Okay.
despite what the mainstream narrative is.
Sure. I want to give Tashika a chance to respond to that. So their argument here is that Republicans tend to support law enforcement more than Democrats, and therefore Republicans keep Black communities safer. Therefore, they're better for minorities. Would you like to respond to that?
Unfortunately, his mic is coming in a little bit weird for me. Can you restate the last part of your argument? Because the way you talk is very jumbled. Can you restate the last part of your argument, Rippey?
Oh, you're talking. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking
Right.
to String Real.
Right.
No, but basically, I was just saying that we do support law enforcement. We don't want crime in our streets going rapid. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so I'm confused as to what I'm supposed to argue here, right? Like about like police officers. I don't think it's a problem that Black people support police officers. I don't have a problem with police officers. I think all of us here know the stats regarding like police brutality and the fact that Black people are more likely to be arrested. I don't think anyone here would disagree with that. If you do, I guess we can have that conversation later. But what is I don't have an actual contention with that. So what do you want to say?
So if you agree that more law enforcement makes communities safer, and that Republicans support more law enforcement, then they're probably better for minorities that want to be protected by law enforcement. That's what it sounds like you completely agree with. But
what do you mean by protected by law enforcement?
I'm going to ask you to explain what part of it you think is confusing. I think it's a fairly obvious.
I'm asking you what you mean by this. Can you elaborate, please?
You're gonna get a really specific answer. We'll call it cops responding to 911 calls and patrolling neighborhoods. It's sufficient to deter crime and respond when necessary.
Right. So then what is required for them to be able to do this?
Well, what is funding for one, and some support from community? I'm not sure where you're going here.
Right. So I would just be confused, though, when you say this, right? When you're talking about Republicans supporting police officers and them being able to do their jobs, because is it or is it not the case that in his first term, Donald Trump proposed cuts for police officers? Didn't he call for defunding the police? I don't understand why you guys keep saying this.
Well, so right now you're stuck in Trump is the only political thing to talk about.
I didn't say that.
Democrat.
I didn't say that. I would appreciate you actually responding to what I said specifically, though.
Moving past that, you can only see it through the world of Trump politics versus actual Republican values.
No. But that is the leader of the ones. Is that not the leader of the Republican Party right now?
Delusional. That is not the leader of the Republican Party. The Republicans are not as monolithic. I've been trying to answer, and you've been cutting me off.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so if you'd like to restate what specific it is that you'd like me to respond to, I'll start with just that.
Right. The fact that Donald Trump repeatedly proposed cuts to the funding that we give to police officers across the country. Right. So can you please provide me why that would be the case if it is the case that Republicans are pro law enforcement? Right. Like I'm.
So if you see a thin blue flag, does that scream to you Republican or Democrat? When you see
I'm
a
sorry.
sign that says
Hunter, is
defund
he
the
answering
police,
the question?
does it sound like a leftist or does it sound like a conservative?
So just
Hunter,
just
do
so
you-
we can get the conversation kind of going here and flowing here, the question seems to be, did or did not President Trump, cut funding for law enforcement? Is that true or untrue? What do you think, Streamer?
So my understanding is there may have been an allocation from law enforcement towards ICE to help support ICE to help combat the problems that law enforcement's facing. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anything other than support of law enforcement from Trump. So it sounds like what you're saying is the leftist protesters burning police stations to the ground, the pepper spraying police, the literally burning cop cars to the ground. That's not a strong signal of budgetary decision you think is more indicative. Is that roughly accurate?
Don't forget all the Democrat politicians saying defund the police.
So
First,
again,
hey,
I'm
when it comes to Democratic. Oh, Tashika, you want to go or I can go?
One of
That's
the
fine.
two of you. Okay.
no, you can go. I was just going to say.
I don't like this frame. I don't like this frame at all. I like one of these frames. Give me one of these frames. There we go. There we go. There we go. And then we do one's correction. We've got the adjustment, 2 adjustment clips, I think. 1, 2, and then we come in and we do a stroke, vignette, VIG, vignette on both. Move track down. 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 Then size. Do 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 do. And then I think I add track, duplicate this. We get a fusion page. We go to magic mask. Magic mask wick out. Better, faster, stronger. Then we drop shadow him. Oh no, we want to stroke. Outer stroke. Do. Can't the future just wait? Can't the deadlines come fashionably late? We could just hold back. We track up. Turn back the rate at which time flies by. Try. File. Export. Frame is still. Export. Do 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 do. Can't the future just chill? Let everything go by just slowly at will. Alrighties. Left or right? Debate. Better for minorities, the left or right debate. Do 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 do. Debate panels. On inappropriate language. That's okay. Oh, that is sensitive events in there. Do 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 do. Never leaving or wondering why. Heck if you try. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Content. You do 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 do. Bum ba dum ba dum bum 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 ba da da dum. the future just wait? Can't the deadlines go? That's so strange. Huh. So we had the big release. Yeah. Yeah. Take control back. Okay, now we gotta do some Ryan videos. Let's go do some Ryan. I don't even know if I delivered the last Ryan videos. Did I do that? Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, da 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 da. Oh shit. I just realized that. I like totally f***ed that up. I totally f***ed that up. Totally f***ed that up.
This is a senior leader of the DSA, and she was interviewed by the New Yorker. The New Yorker is a fairly...
Did I not upload that? I didn't upload that one, and I didn't upload...
Yeah, man. Hey, appreciate you.
Andrew Wilson is now locked in. It was confirmed. He is debating Candace Owens, the queen of the SRI wine mom conspiracy theory, on the Tyler Robinson.
One of the that was the catalyst for the defense saying, hey, we want to re-examine the court being open to media, the exhibits being shown to the public. And the judge, I think, made the proper ruling. I wish, obviously, that he could have avoided all of this by being a little bit more careful. But at the end of the day, he didn't give it all to the defense, and he did allow, still a pretty large amount of the information to be disclosed. You didn't miss out on much, besides this one video that was shown on Friday, which became the subject of so much scrutiny, which, we were shown in court, and it was specifically requested to be held until the very end by Erica's lawyer, or, by the lawyers of, who would it be, I guess, just the victims.
Yeah, the victim's family, and because prosecution and defense, and then the other lawyers of the victim's family, and the media had lawyers there.
Yeah.
And as I recall, on the first or second day, I think it was I can't remember first or second day. The prosecution introduced video surveillance that showed Tyler Robinson moving around the campus, or allegedly moving around the campus. So I'm going to be careful. And they said, and we heard argument about this, that they had an enhanced version.
Yes.
Where Andrew.
I think that's correct. I think that's linguistically correct. The unseen evidence, yes. Time passed through. The unseen. Is that what's doing? Come on. Come on. Please let me type. I can't type. It's not gonna let me type. What? Did it just crash? It did. Oh shit. Rename the unseen evidence. I fucking hate this. Can I please type my name? Add to render queue. Just gonna render that out. Take a second, and then we get thumbs for them.
Got our guests in the chat.
One, I'm not surprised that the kick clippers were engaging in a targeted brigading operation. They're almost always at the scene of the crime. Whenever there's a new initiative to manufacture outrage, they're almost always at the scene of the crime. They heavily brigade in bot posts. They do it all the time, right? And I said, she has no idea. This was on October 9th, and everyone made fun of me. I said, she has no idea she's been the most famous dog on the internet for the past 2 days because of a coordinated far-right pro-Israel slander campaign. And a lot of people dunked on...
Far-right pro-Israel slander campaign? Because he shocked his dog live on...
Oh, dude, Israel made you shock your dog or some shit like that. I was like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I have a lot of enemies on the internet, and they're utilizing this as an opportunity to manufacture outrage.
It's crazy how people can just go on the internet and lie. I don't know why my YouTube thumbnails are so fucking... Why are YouTube thumbnails low quality? Compresses to make them load fast. The internals are too large. Huh. You given. Okay, then I need to make a thumbnail from this. I think this is what I already have. No? Wait. I need to get a good picture. Thumbnail. I'm gonna make her look red. And then we grab a Mullally headshot. Except he looks sad in all these fucking images. Yeah, his face. I need like a list of faces. Ugh, there's so much shit to do. And then we do, I'm literally just gonna do let's do the simple text. Scary. Wait, actually no, I have other thumbs. Grab this one. Scary. Remove the background. Interrupt this. So something like this. Rotate. Scary. And then we do lawyer. We can take the lawyer one and we can pop it up here. Let me take a look. Let me take a look. Take a look. Take a look. Let me take a look. Take a look. Let me take a look. Take a look. Videos. Wait, that's bad. Our thumbnails aren't bad, actually. We're doing really good. Yeah, I think these like pushier, fancier thumbnails are doing way better. People like the yeah, file, export, current frame is still. Right. Outbox. Export. Oh wait, no, I can do settings. Okay, okay, okay. How do do shooty on ape like me? Oh, YouTube just found a frame that works way better. Works way better for what I want, but it's too good. Shooby-doo-doo. Dooby-dooby-doo-dee. Can learn to be like someone like you. Shooba-dooba-dooba-doo-doo-doo.
By being just a little bit more careful. But at the end of the day, he didn't give it all to the defense, and he did allow, still a pretty large amount of the information to be disclosed. You didn't miss out on much besides this one video that was shown on Friday, which became the subject of so much scrutiny, which, we were shown in the court, and it was specifically requested to be held until the very end by Erica's lawyer, or,
Okay, so no, I want to find like Charlie, Kirk, Roof, video, images. Is there images of it? Yeah. This is what I want. Save image as. Download. Just images. Download. Oh wait, no shit. I-O. Wait. It's an AVI. Let's see. Thumb. Timeline. So we have the unseen thumb. Come in here. We paste. Go in here. Pull this out just in case. Screenshots. Do 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 do. Oops. Want to do something funny? Put Candace Owens picture. Wait. Candace Owens. Hold on. Yeah. So if I did this. Okay, I'm done with that. Can I AI? I can AI super scale it. Oh no, that's gonna look like trash. That's fine. Okay, come in here, color. Bring that down. Bring that not too far up. Color boosted. It's 4K camera. Image. Oh, yes. Save image. I got it. This is gonna be the thumbnail. This is gonna be the thumbnail. Downloads. Boom. Open infusion page. Better. Nice. Oh, I could be crazy. Do I want to be? Israel. Give me an image of their flag. Save image as. Save. We take the downloaded image and we put it in here. And then we take another magic mask. And put the magic mask on here. And we grab specifically the lens. What's going on here? That literally should not. There we go. The lens, okay. Magic mask. Oh, do I need to transform this instead? I do. Oh shit. Here. Now we go down. I think. Size it up. Okay. Okay. Color correction, I think. How do I do that? How to transparency in Fusion. Fusion DaVinci. Select your background node. It's not what I want. It's not what I want. What nodes use opacity? The merge node in blend. It will literally just merge. And then blend. Yeah. This is just super simple. And then from merge. To another merge. To the out. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. C-R-O-P. Crop. Oh no, I have to crop this. Oh. Is that really what's... I gotta... I hate this. This is terrible. I could have just put an opacity over top of it. Rather than whatever the fuck I'm doing here. Oh my god. Yes. Whatever. Transform. Can I just move stuff? No, I can't. I can't just move that. Do I care? That's so bad. I should have just done a fucking transparency on top of that. And then what I can do also and I have to and then I think head track, move track down. We go to headshots. And then we go get Ryan. And then we put Ryan right here. It's quite the imposing figure. Color. Oh no. No, no, no. Oh no, you didn't. Track up. Open fusion page. Minus. Why is this being so difficult today? Why are we being so difficult? Then color. Well, I can bring that down a wee bit. Brighten him up. And I think we also give him a drop shadow. Drop. Drop shadow. I really like that. I don't think we need any, like... I don't think we need any more on that. I feel like... and I'm a bit behind. 2 videos ready. I'm loving simple thumbnail. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Ba, 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 da, da. Oh, wait. Oh, shouldn't have refreshed that. Shit. Oh, 6v6 is actually just coming back. Well, that's nice. Oh, yeah.
rumors surrounding the Elder Scrolls 6 are starting to heat up. Recently, we learned, based on hints provided by Asher Sharma from Xbox and Bethesda Game Studios, as well as from leaks, that the Elder Scrolls 6 may very well be titled Elder Scrolls 6 Sentinel. And it turns out that this is something that might have been hinted at for a while, with people discovering that if you look at the set of numbers found in Starfield during character creation, your employee number, if you divide these numbers into sets of 2 and then look at the letters of the alphabet that belong to these numbers, so the 19th letter of the alphabet is S, the 5th letter of the alphabet is E, 14th letter of the alphabet is N, so on and so forth, you get Sentinel. Sentinel also happens to fit into these asterisks here that Asher Sharma used for censoring. There are 8 characters here that Asher Sharma is hinting at, and even Bethesda Game Studios, when they censored the title, also used 8 asterisks, suggesting that it is in fact 8 letters long, and Sentinel is actually 8 letters. Combined with the fact that a former Elder Scrolls developer and writer Michael Kirkbride straight up confirmed when somebody asked, is the game's title Sentinel? He said, yep. And he's someone who's commented on Elder Scrolls 6's title before when people thought that the Redfall trademark was for Elder Scrolls 6, and it turned out to be for the Arcane live service Redfall. Back then, Michael Kirkbride said the Elder Scrolls 6 would not be called Redfall, and he was right about that. And now the plot thickens as we're getting even more confirmation from sources and leakers who are confirming to news outlets like Windows Central that Sentinel is in fact the current working title for the Elder Scrolls 6. This right here is a post from Jez from Windows Central, who reports a lot on goings-ons surrounding Xbox and Microsoft. And here's what he heard. Quote, I've heard the working title is Sentinel, pending legal sign-offs, etc. So not set in stone yet, if it's true, of course. So at the very least, internally, it's being known as Sentinel. I don't know if they'll change that title last minute. I see no reason for them to do that, given that it just makes a lot of sense if the implications of that title are indeed that the Elder Scrolls 6 will take place in Hammerfell. And then another individual who's been coming out and saying that their sources have also relayed that the game's title will in fact be Sentinel is YouTuber Epic Nate, who's done a lot of content in relation to Bethesda series like Fallout and Elder Scrolls and the like. And in this video right here, titled The Elder Scrolls 6's Title and Location Has Leaked, he full-on states that he spoke to sources who have confided in him that The Elder Scrolls 6 will be titled Sentinel and has a targeted release of 2028, a release date that does align with reports and rumors. And then the title Sentinel seems to align with both the hints and clues provided by Bethesda and Asher Sharma themselves, as well as what other sources are saying. The title also makes sense when you look at it from the perspective of this potentially being a spiritual successor to Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. Now, what is Sentinel? For those who don't know, it is, as stated here, one of the 9 major kingdoms of the province of Hammerfell. It's the capital of both the Alkir Desert region and the Mikwasa region of the Alkir. Sentinel is considered the guardian of the Iliac Bay and has been the safe haven of the Western world throughout the eras. Sentinel has been the modern capital of Hammerfell ever since the Interregnum and the Tiber War. It is also the capital of the Forebears, one of Hammerfell's political factions. If we look at a map of Hammerfell, you can see right here that sort of towards the northwest of Hammerfell, kind of towards the coast, you've got Sentinel. Now, a lot of people might look at the fact that the Elder Scrolls V was named Skyrim.
Okay. Young, you're just dragging this out, bro. You're just dragging out the content, bro. Timeline. Let's create your timeline. Ryan wanted. What did he want? He wants the... Oh yeah, the pig fucker. He's...
like, well...
Yeah, Ryan didn't like this guy, Mr. Work. Mr. Work.
There's one thing, but we can't say that there was evidence that she did provide.
I will grant you this. You produced as much evidence that Tyler Robinson's a patsy as I produced that you are a pig fucker. But we can leave that, my friend. Have a good one.
Yeah. That was the end of that. Mr. Work.
Any of these. A comprehensive case is you atomize it and then you try to pick out one detail, and you hope that people don't notice that there's a whole forest, not just a collection of trees. But Mr.
I have to pull this in. I hate doing that so fucking much.
Work. But Mr. Work, how are you?
Wow.
Mr. Work,
how are you?
Mr. Work,
indeed?
how are you? It sounds like you have some strong views on the debate and how Candace did.
Good. Thank you for having me up. Can you hear me okay? Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me up. Can you hear me up? Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to say, yeah, I think you're I just wanted to say, yeah, I think you're misrepresenting the whole debate. You keep saying that there was no evidence whatsoever, but we can argue as to the validity of the evidence, but just because you don't believe it doesn't mean it's not evidence, right? Would you agree with that statement?
No. I think that you're when you talk about evidence, I think that you're no. I think that you're when you talk about evidence, especially like in regard to a court case, what you're really talking about, I want to pull up some language. Court case. What you're really talking about, I want to pull some language. I think it makes your evidence. Here we go. It's something that has the tendency to make a fact more. It's something that has the tendency to make a fact more or less probable than it would be without the evidence, and the fact is of consequence, right? And the reason I'm saying that is it's essentially a relevancy test. And the reason I'm saying that is, for example, if I could say, "This is a meat thermometer I have," and the reason I'm saying that is it's essentially a relevancy test. And the reason I'm saying that is, for example, if I could say, it's essentially a relevancy test to a court case. It's something that has the tendency to make a fact more or less probable than it would be without the evidence, and the fact is of consequence, right? And the reason I'm saying that is it's essentially a consequence. It's essentially a relevancy test. And the reason I'm saying that is, for example, if I could say, "This is a meat thermometer I have for when I use my backyard smoker." As a result, it was Israel. And you're like, well, I mean, God, that meat, I don't doubt that you have a meat thermometer. I just don't see its connection to Israel. You're like, yeah, well, you can believe or disbelieve the meat thermometer's connection to Israel. But ultimately, it is a meat thermometer. We agree I have one, right? See the problem? The evidence has to actually be relevant.
Well, that's not true. Well, and I'm not saying that it's not relevant. I'm saying that the evidence itself can be proven to be false or not. But at the time, we would still consider it evidence. You used to be a lawyer, right? Have you ever seen in any case that you tried
I'm a lawyer.
Okay, thank you. Have you ever seen any case where there was contradictory evidence, but it would still be entered in as evidence, wouldn't it?
Sure, but the evidence, in order to be entered as evidence, it has to be relevant, meaning it tends to make some fact or consequence more or less likely.
Yeah, so you're acknowledging the fact that the receipt is true or if not true, because we don't know the actual validity of it.
This is the problem with this. I got to talk to this for a second. The problem with what Mr. Work is saying, and I've listened to this conversation before, is that... Okay, sorry. Cramped up. That technically anything could be seen as evidence. Like, I could say this mouse is evidence that Israel was involved with Charlie Kirk, and this is kind of what Ryan was saying. I don't think Ryan did a very good job at this. I could say this mouse is evidence that Israel was involved with Charlie Kirk's shooting, and then you go, well, how is it evidence? And I go, well, there's DNA on this mouse that shows that Charlie Kirk, that an Israeli guy was using this computer, and we can trace it back to information about the shooting. And you go, okay, well, can I see that? I want to be able to see and make sure that, like, there's DNA on this and that I have the trace of information from this mouse to whatever Israeli operative or something like that. And they go, you have to trust me, right? That's not evidence. You can't, because then by that definition, technically anything that anybody claimed is evidence, and that's just really not what evidence is.
Because we don't know the actual validity of it. But at this point, it would be evidence as to his location, given
No.
the timeline of what she's trying to.
No.
Okay.
The reason it's not. Oh, here we go. This is just a piece of paper, but let's pretend it's a receipt. Okay.
So Ryan speaking.
This is a receipt for a hamburger meal in New Jersey. Somebody bought some hamburgers, some sliders. They got a shake. They got a soda. They paid with a credit card. There's no name, and the number is blurred out. Is this evidence that Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk?
I mean, so the problem is you try to, and when you question the validity of it, it's not like Candace doesn't provide evidence that hasn't been seen before in the video releases that she's given.
Can we stay on my point before we move on?
Well, okay, because you're trying to say it's not relevant.
I think we would both agree that my hamburger receipt is irrelevant to Charlie Kirk, right?
Yeah, but isn't the whole receipt trying to establish a timeline? So wouldn't that be
okay? I'm trying to establish a timeline, but my receipt doesn't. I'm not showing you credit card information that lets you link it to Tyler Robinson, and it doesn't have his name on it. I don't I'm just showing you a piece of paper and saying this is Tyler Robinson's receipt, but there's nothing on the piece of paper that makes it appear to be Tyler Robinson's receipt.
Whoa! But that's a question of validity. See, so now
that's not a question of validity. That's a question of relevance.
Well, no, because the relevance would be kind of odd that you would commit this and then go and eat at a steakhouse. It's not. You see, so there's relevance too.
So if I can produce a receipt of a hamburger meal in New Jersey on September 10th at or around the time of the shooting, that's evidence that needs to be considered about whether Tyler Robinson did this crime.
Okay, but do you understand that in the facts that she gives, she tries to establish a timeline of what happened that day, right?
I'm also trying to establish a timeline of what happened that day.
Okay, so her questioning. Actually, let me pull my phone in. Her questioning.
My current theory, by the way, is that he's a time traveler. He teleported to New Jersey and bought a hamburger and then teleported back. Now, I think this sounds unlikely on some level, but I'm really convinced by this receipt that doesn't have his name on it or his credit card number. So because
you're trying to have it both ways. I got you. So you're trying to have it both ways.
I'm not trying to have it both ways. Well, the point is, for evidence to be evidence, it has to make a fact more or less likely. A receipt that is not linked to Tyler Robinson, it does not make any fact more or less likely.
Yeah, but you can't say it's not his receipt because from her.
I don't have to show it's not his receipt. The hamburger receipt could be his receipt.
From her accounting of it, she talked to people who had direct knowledge of him, whether he was there or not.
I talked to a guy at the hamburger restaurant. They said Charlie Kirk appeared in a flash of smoke, bought a hamburger, and then gave me this receipt.
You see what the whole problem with this, and I would actually agree with you, if she hasn't proven her credibility to be reliable. How does she get the footage of the guy on the roof that took the shot? Like, obviously she has sources that are verified, that are providing her information, that hence when she says she talked to somebody, she's not bullshitting because she's proven that she's actually doing it.
So you would agree with me then that there's nothing about the receipt that we've seen that links it to Tyler Robinson, and the reason that you find it credible is that you find Candace credible.
Okay, so now we're questioning the validity of the receipt, right? Of the evidence? Is that what we're doing?
I'm going to ask again because I want to make sure that you follow this. You would agree with me that there is nothing on the receipt itself that links it to Tyler Robinson that we have seen.
Well, before I answer that, and I will answer that.
No, not before. Okay, you would agree with me that there's nothing on the receipt that we have seen that links it to Tyler Robinson in and of itself.
If I answer your question, can you answer my question?
Sure.
Okay, so I agree from what we've seen that it's nothing that links directly to. Okay, so now
go ahead, ask your question.
Okay, so whether if it was linked, if it turns out that the receipt is accurate, do you think that would be relevant to the case in establishing his location before he was arrested?
If they could prove that he was in that steakhouse, yeah, that would be relevant.
Oh, interesting, because you were telling me whether he was there or not is irrelevant to whether he shot Charlie Kirk.
I did not say that.
Oh, you didn't? Wow, damn.
In fact, you could go back and you could read a transcript of this and you would never hear me say that.
Really?
What I said is the receipt is not relevant, and the reason the receipt is not relevant is that it doesn't establish any of those things for the reason you just admitted, that it doesn't actually have any data on it to indicate that it is Tyler Robinson's receipt. In fact, it is no more.
Yeah, it literally cannot be submitted as evidence in any case because there is no direct link to the actual to Tyler Robinson, right? Like, if she showed obviously she could have the evidence and she could call it evidence herself, and but the thing is that she's asking other people to do which other people can't do, and they're retards if they're doing it. She's going, I have evidence, you have to trust me it's evidence, and therefore call it evidence when you're talking about it. And that's just not that literally nobody but her and maybe a few other people around her have the evidence to be able to check and make sure that it actually is evidence.
Less likely to be Tyler Robinson's receipt than my hamburger receipt, which is why I gave the hamburger example. The problem with the receipt is that it does not have any data that allows us to look at it and say this is Tyler Robinson's. That's the problem with the receipt. If you could prove it was Tyler Robinson's, then I would agree it would be relevant. The problem is there's been no demonstration of that fact. And in fact, when Andrew asked Candace, hey, if you've seen the receipt, you've seen the card number on the receipt. Did you call the merchant and ask whose name it is? And she said no. She said no. I didn't call them to get the information.
Because the merchant is going to give that information out, right? Well, look, I also have more evidence. I think this is
Stop. She didn't say I called and the merchant didn't give me the information. She said she never called.
Yeah.
So, so maybe the merchant would, maybe the merchant wouldn't. I don't know the answer to that question. I do know that she didn't even try because she said she didn't try.
Well, she said, well, the government would be the one who has the power to subpoena that information. So from what she stated, she's acknowledging that she doesn't believe she can actually get that information. Because she is in the same Andrew.
Okay.
She said that. Do you know that she said that, or yes or no? Do you know
She didn't call to get the information. So if she didn't call to get the information, she doesn't have that information.
Okay, but do you acknowledge that she, when she was debating Andrew, said that the government would be the one to actually get that?
By the way, the government could get it. Do you know the government didn't?
Okay, but the inference.
No. Do you know whether the government?
Why can't we stick on one point?
Whether the government got that information?
Why can't we stick on one point?
Do you know whether the government got that information?
Oh, no, obviously I don't. Okay, now we go back to what we're talking about.
Here's the reason why that matters. Here's the reason why that matters. Because the government is obligated to give the information they have to the defense. The defense will have both the government's information and will have access to their client who knows whether or not he was there. Now, the defense chose not to bring any of this up. They might, if there's good evidence for this, maybe they'll bring it up later. But dollars to donuts, they won't. And the reason I don't think they will, and they certainly didn't at the hearing, is that there has been nothing produced to give any credibility to this receipt. And by the way, while the defense is not technically legally obligated to present all evidence at a preliminary hearing, I'm going to be open and honest about that. If they could blow a massive hole in the state's case and prove it's all bullshit, they would.
Well, they haven't presented an argument, so how do we know they're going to do that or not? And on top of that, we don't know if the government even investigated it because, from my understanding, Cash Patel didn't want to look into foreign involvement, and we shut that down. Is that not accurate?
Who's trying this case?
Okay.
Who's trying
I get it.
Who's trying the case?
Anyways, look, I think I destroyed you on the evidence part
Who's trying
because,
the case?
like, we're questioning the validity of the evidence.
Who is trying the case?
I've got more evidence to present. Should I present more evidence?
The state, I think that's the answer.
Got to answer a question. I'm not going to
Utah, right?
State of Utah.
Yeah, the state.
So earlier, you admitted you don't know whether they investigated. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, because the whole reason I said that is because they're assuming they did investigate it and they found whether it's true or not. And then if it was true, then the defense would have had access to it and could make that public. But your whole assumption is based on the fact that the government actually investigated. That's why I'm saying that we don't know if they did or didn't. So you clearly don't know what you're talking about. I have additional evidence that Candace did present.
And I'd love to hear your additional evidence. Let's just be clear. Where we're at right now is there is a receipt with no information on it linking it to Tyler Robinson. And on the basis of that, you think this is evidence that he didn't do it based on just an enormous number of leaps of faith and conjecture. But there's what hasn't happened, and this is why Candace couldn't produce any evidence. Because if she had called the merchant and got the information, she could have said that. Like, this is not the sort of thing that is impossible to prove. If he was there, this is the sort of thing that is provable. You have the receipt. If they have credit card information, you can link the credit card to the person. This is very, very doable, but it has not been done. And the reason it hasn't been done, let's be honest, because it's bullshit. But anyway, what's your evidence? Go ahead.
I mean, look, whether we want to question the validity of it is one thing, but to say it's not evidence,
okay,
and you know that.
I'm going to take a different tact in this conversation because we're going down in a circle. I have evidence. Hold on. I'm going to try this a different way. I have evidence that you fuck pigs. I have evidence that you fuck pigs, and here's the evidence. I have pictures of you fucking pigs. Now, I'm not going to show you the pictures. You got to take my word for it. But I have damning evidence that you're a pig fucker. And that's the evidence I have. Now, are you saying it's not evidence? Are you saying are you saying my photos of you fucking pigs isn't evidence?
That's hearsay, isn't it? Isn't that hearsay? Because you haven't produced anything. Like, if you produce a binder with pictures inside and you're like, hey.
Well, no, that's the whole point that Ryan's making. Sorry.
This is the binder which all these pictures exist and are inside of them. And here's a picture of somebody fucking a pig, but we censored your face. You know, at that point, it's like, well, there is evidence. It doesn't directly link because you can't.
I have this picture of you fucking pigs. Now, look, you might think that this picture of you fucking pigs doesn't seem to link up to you very well. My God, but are you?
I don't like Ryan's example here. He should just be using a blurry photo. He'd be like, here's a blurry photo that I've blurred out so nobody can see, so it's evidence that I have that you can't see, but it's evidence that you fuck pigs.
Are you really going to question the validity of my evidence? Are you going to question the validity of my... Are you going to say I have no evidence that you're a pig fucker when I've presented this to you? Look at the evidence I have.
If that's your, well, you know what I would say to you? I would say, if that's your evidence, so I'm acknowledging that as evidence, I would say, well, then your claim doesn't make sense because it's not valid. Like, that's obviously not real. I wouldn't say, oh, that's not evidence. That's not evidence.
Hold on. So you are taking the position that this is evidence about whether or not you're a pig fucker?
In court, if you're submitting that, I would say that would be...
Well, no, yeah, but it hasn't been submitted as evidence. And the state hasn't taken it in as evidence and isn't using it as it. What the
valid, right? I would say, Your Honor, it's obvious the evidence that you're submitting is. Well, you even said there's contradictory evidence in court cases, right?
Well,
so what's the judge to do? Does the judge determine what's true and what's not true and throw evidence out? Or
Your
are they
Honor,
both
I rest my case. We've had some fun. If you've got some parting words, go ahead and say them.
Well, I have other evidence that you don't want to talk about because I'll get you. So when we talk about the French Foreign Legion and she says that she did submit that, would that also not be evidence? Also, how did Candace get video of the guy taking the shot on the roof?
Sorry, she said she submitted evidence that she submitted her belief that someone tried to kill her.
Yeah, somebody from the French government reached out to her, so that was her source,
and said that someone tried to kill her.
That the government was planning to assassinate her. Yeah.
Okay, how is that evidence about whether Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk?
Because the same source, I believe it's the same source, but other sources have also said that the French Foreign Legion was actually on the ground that day.
Okay.
On top of that, you have Kent that said there was the 12 Israeli cell phones. You have the random caliber that was on the roof that I guess the cops just randomly, wrap their weapons while they're on the roof and leave a bullet on the ground. You also have Cash Patel who says don't look into foreign involvement. I mean, Oswald is the biggest conspiracy people say, right? People say he's a patsy. And it's not that he wasn't involved in the assassination, it's that there was another shooter.
Now you're just throwing stuff out there. There's a bunch of stuff you said that she chose not to bring up. And she chose not to bring up because the explanations are fairly obvious. Like there was clear officer testimony about why they found a bullet on another roof, about why they cleared the chamber. So there's clear testimony on that point. She didn't bring it up for the same reason you probably should have known not to because of the clarity of testimony. But as regards to the French Foreign Legion point, here's my favorite thing about what Candace did there. Because it was so funny. I don't think she realized what she did. She's been complaining about the use of hearsay, reliable hearsay in the preliminary examination. She's been complaining about it endlessly. Now, the reason that reliable hearsay is allowed in preliminary hearings is that if the police officers just make it up, if they just lie, if they make up charges, they're going to be held responsible for lying to a judge, for lying to the court, for lying to the system. Like they have responsibility, and if they just make shit up, they can be held to account. And that's why reliable hearsay is allowed in a preliminary setting. What was her rationale for saying that people should trust what she said about the Foreign Legion?
Yes. I think the fact that she has proven credibility with releasing information
No.
established it.
Her rationale was if she lied to the government, she'd get in trouble.
Yeah, I mean,
so the exact reason that she wants us to believe her about her whatever she said about the Foreign Legion to the government is the same reason why reliable hearsay is allowed. But she has a problem with reliable hearsay, but we're supposed to take her word for it about what she said to the foreign government. It's weird how that double standard applies.
Whether that double standard exists or not, it doesn't go to disprove the fact that she said that it did happen. And from the fact that it's a clear falsifiable, and if she added that she texted what's his name, Bongino, so why would she lie and then add more?
We're going to have to go back to the pig fucking example. In addition to my photographic evidence, I also am testifying that you're a pig fucker. So, God, I got you good now. We are really cooking.
You want to finish that thought, man. He knows about to get you, man. That's crazy. And you're defending Andrew's position, and this is what the team has. That's crazy.
Finish your pig fucking thought. Go ahead.
Okay, so my point is that when she was bringing up the French Foreign Legion, she said she submitted it to Tulsi's office. She also added that she sent Bongino a text message about it. If she was actually lying, why would she create more falsifiable channels for people to actually debunk her? Because all it takes now is Bongino to come out and says, oh, that never happened, or Tulsi's office to come out and say that never happened. You see? Now, whether the hypocrisy of the double standard of hearsay or not has nothing to do to actually discredit what she's saying to be accurate or true.
So her source is she said it, right? That's the argument. She said it.
Yeah, she's reporting it. But do you acknowledge that she's reporting stuff that nobody else has access to?
And why do you think I made the joke about me saying that you're a pig fucker? What was the point of that joke?
That goes back to the first one we were talking about the receipt and the validity of it.
And because people can say whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, but she says do you acknowledge that she actually has released evidence never before seen to the public? Do you acknowledge that, or do you think she's bullshitting everything? Even though footage on putting the rooftop.
I do not watch her show, so I don't know what she has and has not done in its totality. I don't like the footage.
Heavily demonstrated that there was evidence provided.
Evidence that Tyler Robinson is a patsy is I produced that you are a pig fucker. But we can leave it at that, my friend. Have a good one.
Of constant sorrow all through his days. I am a man.
Mr. Work, how are you? It sounds like you have some strong views on the debate and how Candace did.
Thank you for having me up. I just wanted to say, I think you're misrepresenting the whole debate. You keep saying that there was no evidence whatsoever, but we can argue as to the validity of the evidence, but just because you don't believe it doesn't mean it's not evidence, right? Would you agree with that statement?
No. When you talk about evidence, especially like in regard to a court case, it's something that has the tendency to make a fact more or less probable than it would be without the evidence. And the fact is of consequence. It's essentially a relevancy test. And the reason I'm saying that is, for example, if I could say, this is a meat thermometer I have for when I use my backyard smoker.
That's fine. That's totally fine. I like that. We're good. We can grab this outro. Go back to... And we're going to rename this to When Pigs Fuck. Actually, we'll rename... Do 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 do. Oh, I should have queued up another video instead. Okay. 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 Oh no. I fucked that up. This has been fucked up. Um Evidence, evidence, evidence. Is that how you spell it? Evidence. Oh, I do have to re-render that. That's always nice. So quite enjoyable. So we got one. And then what did he...
Fans.
What is the lactoid doing in there? Lactoid is everywhere. Oh my god, what? I gotta log in again. Try another way. Try another way, please. Secure. I